Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer for your very first discussion board. We're going to be tackling some incredibly deep, really complex themes in this module. Think of this explainer as your official mission briefing. Together, we're going to walk through the structure, the context, and exactly what's expected of you so that you have total confidence to knock this assignment right out of the park as we explore these really profound human experiences.
Okay, let's dive right into this roadmap. We're going to hit 5 quick stops: navigating loss and vulnerability, 2 distinct personal narratives, crafting your initial post, citation and textual evidence, and finally, engaging with your peers.
Section 1. Navigating Loss and Vulnerability, the core theme.
Now, I want to pause for a second because this material carries some serious emotional weight. We are specifically looking at what happens when words just fail. The overarching theme of this assignment is all about exploring human emotional vulnerability, profound memory, and grief. It essentially asks this really challenging question. When you experience something completely earth-shattering, how on earth do you put that into words when our standard everyday language just falls totally short?
To tackle these themes, we're diving into a very specific genre, the reflective personal narrative. Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand that these authors aren't just giving us like a step-by-step chronological timeline of sad events. Instead, they're actively telling their life stories while simultaneously analyzing and questioning those exact experiences from a later perspective. It's like a giant puzzle. They're trying to make sense of who they were and ultimately what they lost.
Section 2. 2 distinct personal narratives, Folly versus Maynard.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible contrast between our 2 assigned readings. First, we have Megan Folly's Don't Ask a Widow This, which reflects on life after the death of Andrea Gibson. It is this surreal, deeply intimate exploration of losing a partner. It really examines how fragmented grief completely reshapes time and just everyday mundane rituals. And then, in complete contrast to that, we have Jake Maynard's Palcoholics. This piece looks at friendship and nostalgia specifically in a rural, working-class environment. Maynard explores alcohol culture and how so many men are basically socialized to avoid emotional vulnerability. So we've got 2 very different texts, but they're bound together by that exact same struggle to process loss.
Section 3. Crafting your initial post, the main mission. All right, let's lock in your weekend workload. Your initial 300-word post is due by Saturday, May 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Then you've got Sunday to read through your peers' posts and reflect. And finally, your peer replies are due Monday, May 25th at 11:59 p.m. Now, pay super close attention here. You might actually notice that the assignment syllabus header mentions 2 peer replies due. But if you look at the actual rubric details, it specifically requires replying to at least 3 classmates. Always aim for that higher standard to secure full credit, so shoot for 3 replies by Monday night.
So, what does this all mean for your writing? How do we actually effectively analyze these narratives? Well, the key to a really successful 300-word initial post is that it absolutely must move beyond mere summary. Please do not just retell the stories of Folly and Maynard. We've all read them. You need to push past that into deep interpretation, personal reflection, and genuine literary analysis.
Let's move to and see how this builds your actual post. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed, don't worry. Here is a menu of analytical focus areas pulled right out of your assignment prompt. Just pick a couple of these to structure your thoughts so you aren't staring at a blank page. For instance, you could discuss how these writers use personal memories to tackle much larger cultural issues. Or, analyze the role of reflection itself. You could contrast their different approaches to vulnerability or focus on those limits of language we talked about. You could even dive into significant scenes or imagery or look at how these texts challenge the usual stereotypes of masculinity and mourning. Basically, use these areas as your structural foundation.
Section 4. Citation and textual evidence, modeling success.
So, the crucial point, the absolute most important number to remember here is 1. You must include at least 1 direct quotation or specific textual reference from each reading in your initial post. That's 1 from Folly and 1 from Maynard, minimum. And this brilliantly illustrates how you can do this seamlessly. Take this quote from Jake Maynard. "We drink to go back to the feeling that closeness is possible." Now, because these are digital readings, meaning no formal page numbers, you really don't need to stress over complex formatting here. Just weave the quotation naturally into your writing using the author's name. So, for example, you could write, "Maynard reflects that we drink to go back to the feeling that closeness is possible, revealing how nostalgia and alcohol become tied to male friendship." See, it's simple, it's effective, and it's totally academically sound.
Section 5. Engaging with your peers, Rules of Engagement. Let's very quickly review the metrics for peer engagement so there's absolutely zero confusion on what gets you full credit. You need to reply to at least 3 classmates. Each of those replies needs to have some meat on its bones. Aim for about 90 to 120 words per reply. And again, lock in that deadline, Monday, May 25th at 11:59 p.m.
Now, how do you actually write a good reply? Listen, simply typing, "Great post, I agree," is just not going to cut it in a college-level discussion. You need to actively foster a real dialogue, and you can do that using these 3 steps. Step 1, expand on their interpretation, or, respectfully offer a totally different reading. Step 2, connect their ideas to another moment in the text. And step 3, ask thoughtful, analytical questions to push the dialogue even further. You really want to explore those connections between Foley and Maynard together.
Before we wrap up, I just want to offer a gentle reminder to approach both these readings and your classmates with real care and respect. Because we are discussing incredibly heavy, emotionally complex issues here. Things like death, addiction, loneliness, and vulnerability, absolute thoughtfulness and empathy are completely mandatory.
Which brings us right to the end of our explainer and leaves us with this final, somewhat provocative question. How will you navigate the language of loss? As you step away from all these rubrics and deadlines and actually get into the readings, keep this profound emotional core in mind. You've got the structure, you know the requirements, and now you have the opportunity to really engage with some incredibly inspiring, moving writing. Best of luck with the assignment, you're going to do great.